Derek Domino is an Irish YouTuber with 75,000 subscribers, a significant number for an Irish politics channel. His videos can get over 100,000 views, making him one of the largest channels in this space. Derek mostly comments on Irish political events from a right wing, populist direction. He uses a lot of tropes commonly found online, both in Ireland and in the US. Immigration, the elites, multiculturalism, they're all criticized in pretty much every video. In fact, his video titles are downright hysterical and speak for themselves. Ireland's coming civil war. Brackets, I didn't want to release this video. Irish government wants to take your home for migrants. Scum, deport them all. And my personal favorite, is pennies only for black people now? From these titles, I think you can get a pretty good idea of what kind of channel Derek's is. Regardless, he's only a part of a new wave of right wing commentators in Ireland who are gaining an online following. While keeping in mind the internet is packed full of bots, I still think their growth matters, and to an extent is real. That's because Ireland is being affected by the Yankification of right wing politics in Europe. A lot of Derek's and those with his views, talking points, style, and phrases seem straight out of Trumpland. And that's a trend happening in a lot of nations and within their right wing, such as Reform in the UK or the AFD in Germany. This is notable in Ireland as we do not have an actual populist right party in government or even in the Dáil, which is Ireland's parliament. You could argue that they are often represented in a growing number of independent TDs, members of parliament, but they are no coherent force. We have several parties who would fit the description, but they have no representation or really much support from the public at all. While that may be changing, it is still yet to create a similar movement like those in England or Germany. Derek's content is the beginning of this trend in Ireland's political landscape, at least online. Through constant race baiting, an us versus them attitude, and conspiratorial thinking, he covers Irish news as well as the international populist right. I could discuss more in detail his type of analysis, but it is mind numbingly like every far right American you have ever heard. Using immigration to make people fearful, referencing the global World Economic Forum elite, it's pretty standard stuff. It's blaming real economic issues on a global conspiracy and minorities instead of understanding them as a result of a coherent political or economic system. It's fear based politics and it's not unique. What I am interested in is its effect on real life politics in Ireland. I say real life as opposed to online. We had a general election last year, and their online momentum didn't translate into seats, outside of a few independents. It's worth noting that this could be due to poor coordination, as there are so many right wing populist parties in Ireland that it feels like satire. They managed a high number of spoiled ballots in Ireland's 2025 presidential election, but failed to even field a candidate themselves or really affect the outcome of the vote. So far, the movement's really only shown itself in anti immigration protests and riots that have become relatively common in Ireland. For the most part, their presence in the real world is smaller than pretty much any other European country. There are serious security concerns relating to this growth, however. According to a study by the International Centre for Counterterrorism in 2024, the threat of violence by the extreme right is increasing in Ireland. And that was over a year ago now. Since then, there's been a string of arson attacks on asylum accommodations. We even came close to a planned terrorist attack on a mosque, but this was prevented by the Gardaí. When it comes to the online space, they found that ERW, extreme right wing content, is more prevalent on Twitter and Telegram than other platforms, which sounds about right. The most popular themes included global conspiracy theories, anti government, and anti immigrant sentiments. And do you remember when I mentioned the Yankification of this space? Well, most location references in the content covered in the study were places in the United States and the United Kingdom. not Ireland, so not really beating the allegations there. We also should not forget the interpersonal problems caused by ERW. According to the Irish Human Rights and Equality Commission, only 80% of Ireland now agree that everyone should be treated equally regardless of who they are, down from 85% in 2023. 14% of those surveyed said they experienced racism in the past year, up from 10% in 2024, and among non-white Irish, it was 66%. It's clear that there has been an increase in racist harassment, which is affecting many people throughout the country. Attitudes are hardening amongst a section of Irish society. One gain the extreme right may have achieved in Ireland is the shift in the country's Overton window. For those who don't know, the Overton window refers to the range of subjects and arguments politically acceptable to the mainstream population at a given time. And the Overton window has shifted in relation to immigration. There's been an increase in anti-immigrant sentiments amongst the public, and the government's language around the issue has also hardened. This may have happened without the ERW's influence given larger trends in Europe, but to a lesser extent. It's also worth noting that the ERW has put renewed pressure on Sinn Féin, Ireland's broad tent but generally left-leaning nationalist party. The populist right has been attacking them from a nationalist angle, and that definitely causes problems for the party. But Sinn Féin is once again the most popular party in Ireland according to surveys, so it's being limited. Overall, it looks likely that for the foreseeable future, the ERW will continue to gain online while making little headway in real-life Irish politics, with the exception of an increase in interpersonal racism, anti-immigration protests, and violence. How's that for a helpful contribution to our society? The Yankification of the Irish right is also going to continue. Just last week, convicted fraudster, close friend of Jeffrey Epstein, and Trump's ex-political strategist, Steve Bannon, said the following. Quote, I'm spending a ton of time behind the scenes on the Irish situation to help form an Irish national party. They're going to have an Irish MAGA, and we're going to have an Irish Trump. That's all going to come together, no doubt. That country is right on the edge, thanks to mass migration. So expect America's connection with the extreme right in Ireland to only strengthen. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to give it a like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. I often cover Irish politics on this channel, but I also do history videos, and not just on Ireland, but East Asia and the Middle East as well. So if you have any interest in those topics, be sure to check out my other videos. And with that, I'll see you next time.